If made, get switchblades in every yard.
So when I first saw this story, House targets Fed in Bank of America investigation today, I was a little bit skeptical. House panelists subpoenaed documents that lawmakers say could shed new light on Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke's role in Bank of America's acquisition of Merrill Lynch. Bank of America ultimately received $45 billion from the government's bank bailout program, $20 billion of which was tied to its acquisition of Merrill Lynch. And something shady went down, so maybe some people in the House are upset. Maybe some banksters are upset. Maybe this is just a smokescreen to get people to ignore what's really happening to the Federal Reserve, and that being the audit bill 1207 with 220-plus co-sponsors. I'm not even sure what it's at right now, but it's supposed to be going before the House. So I guess that's my take on this. I'm going to be keeping up on it because it is an important story. And if anybody has a take on why the House is targeting the Fed in this Bank of America investigation, I encourage you to call in about it. Also weird, this Stanford guy out of Texas, they're calling him the Texan Madoff now, and they're going after him. I guess he sold a bunch of high yield junk bonds as well that nobody saw returns on. So much to keep up with. It might be small potatoes, but it's tough to say small potatoes to a billionaire. He's a billionaire. All right, let's jump to our next caller. Chris in North Carolina. Chris, you're on the line.
Bermas,
Chris.
I wanted to make a comment on a caller that had made a comment earlier. But
Okay.
First I wanted to just give my appreciation for what you're doing. I did a radio show on GCN for a while. I know how much time it takes to get together a show. Mine was only an hour and yours is 3, which is impressive. But it does take a lot of work. And I wanted to make a comment on the person that called in about casework being done whenever you go and have whatever case it is heard in front of a court, being commercial in nature.
Yeah.
And an instrument being formed on that. That is accurate. And I wanted to blend those 2 points. I think that a lot of times when I listen to you and Alex, I know how much work it takes, and you guys don't really have enough time in your free lives to really do enough research into this particular aspect, but it's so important that the people listen to your show and that this sort of movement or whatever sort of gets a better idea of what they're dealing with. You guys have to take some time off sometime and do some research into this. I've heard you call it common law before, but that's not accurate. What we're talking about here is the commercial nature of the system of law, the legal societies that we're dealing with here.
Explain to me how these bonds work. How private corporations buy up court cases and make money. How does that happen?
What you're dealing with is that the entire legal system is commercial in nature right now. Whether it be a statute that you're being charged against, which is in fact bonded by one of these corporations or a law society or a judges association. Everything is commercial in nature. So when you do have a case, literally your case number can be tracked to a QSUB trading number that can be found on Fidelity.com. There are instruments that are used because court cases are worth money. They're basically enforcing bills that the legislature passes, and the bill needs to be collected upon. And there is reality and truth. This isn't an Ed Brown tax scheme or some sort of funny, bogus tax protester movement. The real keystone to this, and I didn't realize this till I got off the air and finally had the free time to go and do my own research for the last year. These people have a point. They have more than a point. They're talking about reality. They're talking about the way that the legal system works today.
Well, you know what's interesting to me? That first of all, the prison system is as privatized as it gets openly. We can get that across to people.
Bonds, the Corrections Corporation of America, all prisoners are bonded. Those bonds are traded. China and Japan buys them up. It's more than just what it costs the federal government to imprison people. People are actually making money off of.
Listen, Chris, I'm gonna hold you over to the other side, and in the next segment, I want you to explain to me how it is that a corporation can make money on a trial, and I obviously that fines are paid, but how does that all work? How does it become profitable? We'll discuss that on the other side. It's the Infowarrior, 866-582-9933. All right, we are back. We're talking to Chris in North Carolina, and Chris, let me start this and see if this is accurate. You're charged with a crime. All right, you're charged with a crime. That crime is something maybe in civil court that is going to, or maybe even, federal court where you're not going to go to jail, but it's going to be a heavy fine if you're convicted. Now, a corporation then comes in and buys that based upon the likelihood that they're going to get convicted and how much they're going to have to pay?
No, it's based upon
Okay.
the statute. It's based upon the statute. The statute doesn't have the force, the natural force of law, so it has to be enforced.
But
And
all right, but let me ask you, the statute
in all honesty,
itself.
Bermas, I hate to interrupt you on your
Yeah.
but I can't possibly explain this to you in a minute or two. The point of my call was that the people that are listening to the show, we don't even have the vocabulary to talk about this because the definitions of the words that we use in everyday life are completely different to the legal societies and the judges associations that make the definitions for these statutes and for whatever law it is in the land. And so it's important that your listeners know. And I'm asking you personally, I know that you're super busy and it takes a tremendous amount of time to produce your show. But you and Alex have got to find some time to take for yourselves to go do the research a little bit further into this particular, realm. I mean, GCN literally offers nothing on the idea of commercial law, of redemption, of the understanding of what's really happening in the system of law today. There are no shows that talk about this, and it's money. I mean, I think Sam Kennedy talks about this on another network. I have not actually listened to him before, but there's guys out there that do know about this, that are starting to shed light on this and help people understand what's going on. And
well, listen, man, hit me up over on my MySpace or my Facebook with some names that you think could do it in maybe a half hour to an hour.
It'll take longer than that, but what's important is that you're a good voice for this. There's no doubt, and you have the energy and the youth like I do, but it takes personal time. Like what I do now is read code like 3 hours a day. Some guys go golfing, some guys do a radio show. I read code all the time. That's what it takes to understand this. But these people you need to help share some of this with them. And
that's what I'm asking you to do, man. Listen, send me somebody that can sum this up. I mean, something of it, so that people can get it within a 30 to 60 minute period on the show.
How about
I'll have them as a guest.
The best thing your listeners can do now is to go to a website like teamlaw.net and go read Patriot Mythology. Okay, because it's going to shoot down a whole bunch of bogus arguments and keep some people out of court, specifically tax protesters who are talking about the unconstitutional nature of income tax. Has nothing to do with this. This has to do with contract law. It has to do with your unalienable right to go into contract, and the Constitution enforces that. So a good place to start would be teamlaw.net and go read about Patriot Mythology and all the things that are not accurate, things that people have found out by spending time in jail.
All right, I'll check it out. I thank you for the call, Chris. Let's jump to Lenny in New York. Lenny, you're on the line. Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, Bermas? I just wanted to talk about the cops that are out of control. Like, 15-year-old girl kicks shoe at cops and is beaten on video. 10-year-old boy is shot for holding plastic toy gun and is arrested after being shot.
He was 15. Hold on, he was 15, but we showed that video too. Yeah. He got, not only did he get arrested, he was cuffed and held on the ground for like 15 minutes.
After he was shot, after they realized it was a plastic gun.
Yeah, no, I know. It's out of control.
Okay. Yeah, teenage girl is arrested after a cop hangs up on her for three times after trying to call 911 for ambulance.
Played it on the show. It's out of control. And not only that, she called 911 because her father was having he had an aneurysm earlier. Yeah, he was having a seizure after he had a brain aneurysm and was at the hospital. Go ahead.
And then he tells the people that he doesn't know what?
Yeah, no, we're here. That's just the music, my friend. Well, listen, I know all these stories you're talking about. They are totally and completely out of control. We have covered each and every one over on the Infowarrior. And yeah, it's pretty sad that a girl who's calling 911 for her father because she thinks he's dying is hung up 3 times by a police officer. She then runs, not walks to the police station only to be arrested. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas. Back after this.